Hello and welcome to the Crystal Vision podcast, where we dive deep into the strategies and energetics of business, money, and mindset mastery so as to create the next generation of wildly wealthy women. My name is Olivia Clare and I'm a serial entrepreneur who is obsessed with giving you all of the tools that you need to create your crystal clear vision of success. Each week, you will hone in on your unique zone of genius and embody the highest version of yourself to reverse engineer your way to your dream life. If you're ready to let go of the hustle and effortlessly call in more money, more growth, and more fulfillment, stay tuned. Hello and welcome back to the Crystal Vision podcast. Now, I'm sure, like the rest of us, you've been coming into 2023 with a lot of ideas, like I'm going to eat healthier, or I'm finally going to start meditating, or I'm going to start a business. Well, I'm sure you know that ideas don't become much of a reality without inspired action, and usually without a plan. If you're ready to get your 2023 business plan absolutely sorted, look no further, as today we have business specialist and coach Suzy Wraines to give us a step-by-step breakdown into why you need a business plan and how to use it in order to hit your 2023 goals and how you can get started today. Enjoy the episode. Hi, Suzy. Welcome to the Crystal Vision podcast. How are you doing today?
Oh, thank you so much for having me, Olivia. I'm doing wonderful.
That is great. What time is it there over for you? It's 8 o'clock here.
Where are you located? Because that's something that I don't know.
Yeah, I'm in Sydney. So I'm not actually in Sydney, but I'm 3 hours from Sydney, which is close to Sydney in Australia. So yeah, I'm on Australian time zone.
Oh, okay. I'm in Colorado in the US, and it is 2 p.m.
Cool.
I think you're morning and I'm afternoon, and you're tomorrow and I'm yesterday.
I'm in the future. I know.
Yes.
It's nice. It's a sunny day in the future. Colorado's so cool. Have you had much snow?
We have had some. It's not been bad. We're up in the mountains, so we get more snow than most of the cities do.
Oh,
But it's
I
colder
love
today than it
that.
has been. Hence the sweater.
Wow. I love that. I'm going to come visit. I'm obsessed with snow and mountains. I love my beach lifestyle, but that's like my vacation stuff. It's like the mountains. So I'll just hop on a flight and we'll do it in person.
Yeah.
Just kidding. So so excited to have you on today because I feel like we're going to get into something that I absolutely love talking about, which is the nitty-gritty details. And your whole business is centered around the details and around planning and using these details to make strategic plans. So I'm so excited to get further into it. But I really want to start from the beginning. So when did you first discover, or when did you first start working in the business world?
So I'm going to date myself a little bit. I have had over 20 years of business experience working in corporate. So
Love it.
very much the intricate details of departments. So I've learned the structure of
Wow.
departments within an organization, and that got me excited because I worked in budgeting and forecasting numbers, which a lot of people don't really like or they find scary, which is totally okay. I find it fascinating because numbers tell a story. So as I was working in these corporate businesses, I realized I think I want to get a degree in business. So I went ahead because I didn't do college right out of high school. I went ahead and got my degree in business administration with a focus in human resources because I liked the structure of business. So I was like, I want to know everything, people and the organization. And when you go through, I don't know how many people know this, but when you go through business school, you learn everything there is to know about accounting. I had no idea how
Yeah.
much I was going to learn about the numbers and how much it makes up a business. So that got me started. And from there, I actually joined the military. So I worked in business, had my business degree,
Wow.
and I joined the military. It was shortly after 9/11. So I went into the medical field. So I have a very different path to getting to where I am today. But
That is so interesting.
yeah, going into the military and doing medical, I used my business skills. It was crazy because the medical industry functions like a business. And so even though I was working
Mm,
with patient care, I was also tracking how many patients we were having. And I worked in a recovery unit in a hospital at one point, and I had built them a way to track their patient flow so that they would know what to tell their board. So my brain, I think, has always been in the business world. Like I've always thought about everything and how things work together and processes and things like that. So fast forward to today, and I started a business with my husband, a photography business. He's a photographer. And I didn't do a business plan, which shame on me. Like that's full disclosure. I'm going to be completely vulnerable. I did not write a business plan for our business because I'm like, I'll just put it together. It'll be fine. And guess what? It wasn't fine. And I ended up going back and writing a
mm,
plan. And so when I decided to start my own business, for me, we retired that business several years ago. That was the first thing that I thought of. I thought, I want to work with business owners that are starting out and get them on the right foot because there's so many pieces, moving parts to
yeah.
a business. And I didn't do that. And I saw how difficult it was for me to run our photography business without it. So that brought me to today.
Yeah. And I see the same thing a lot of the times, like when you first get started. For people like us, where your brain kind of works like that. And actually, it's funny that you said that. I used to work with a person, like I was the executive manager of the business that they had founded. It was a tutoring business, and her lifelong goal was to be a doctor. So she was studying and doing all that while I was running the business. And then she started working, and she's like, I don't understand. Like, we should just use Slack for communication rather than like the types of things that they were using at the time, or just like using her business brain so much in that way. So I think people like us, it's like we always manage to find a way to, I don't know if it's over the top, but I will like micromanage my whole life. I've got spreadsheets coming out of my spreadsheets. So I think like for us, it's great. But for so many people who get started, the details are really scary. They're really draining. And you kind of walk in something like photography as well, something that's like starts off as a passion, right? It's like you walk into business and you're like, what the heck? Like, why do I need a spreadsheet? What are these numbers for? Why do I even need to know that in the first place? So I think it's a really great idea just in general, but I think it's also like, it's just so common, and I hear it so much, and I really love helping people who are in that space as well, because I'm like, you so amazing, like let's just get that part of it out of the way. Let's get you making money, and then you can just do what it is that you love. So that's amazing. Can you tell us a little bit more about like what is a business plan, or what is involved in a business plan?
So simplifying, which is what I do, I try to make everything as simple as possible because
Mm,
like you, I have a lot of experience and a lot of things going on in my head, and trying to strip out all the as much of the detail and make it just step by step. So there's about, depending on what your business plan is for. So with my business and my coaching, I work with businesses who are not going to submit it to a financial institution or look for investors.
hmm
It's really for them to plan out their steps of what they need to do in order to launch a business. You can take that and expand on it and do a separate analysis and more detailed work, more numbers really for the bank if you wanted to apply for financing. But really, what goes into it is you have to have a business concept. So you have to have an idea. This is what I
hmm
want to do. And you have to have a marketing thought. I say thought, but really it's a plan.
Yep.
How are you going to reach the people with your idea? How are you going to find the people that you want to sell to? And then you need operations. I use that word, it's a corporate word, but you need the processes of how you're going to get, once
Mm,
you sell your business idea. So if it's a service, you sell your service, then you need to figure out, okay, once a client buys my service, what happens? How does it get delivered to them?
yeah.
What is their experience going to be like? And then how am I going to track all the numbers in the background? How am I going to track the money coming in, the money going out? How am I going to track all of those things? And that's the business back office. So that's part of operations or the processes. And then you have to have a team, because as much as we love to want to work alone, we can't do it all alone. We can start on our own. That's totally okay. But you have to figure out the areas that you need help in. What is it that you don't know enough about that you need to ask for help? Or what is it that you don't like to do?
Mm.
Because I mean, there's a ton of stuff I don't like to do in my business. I'm going to hire somebody to do that for me. So it's mapping that out. And then it's the last thing is your financial plan, which is really how much does it cost to start? And then how much does it cost to keep going? And then in all of that, and part of what I do is I work with my clients on getting really detailed. How are you going to make it happen? What do you have to do to make all of these things happen? So that's basically what's in a business plan.
I need one. No, I feel like I do that, but I haven't written it down. But it's like every couple months or so, I'm like, okay, wait, let me look at my numbers again. Where are my profits sitting? What am I spending? And like all of that is so important. So I think again, if it doesn't come naturally, like go out, get it written down, like have someone to walk you through it as well. If you're new, it's so, so important. And can you actually tell us, like, since you went through the experience of not having a business plan and then having a business plan, and I think in today's market, there are so many people leaving their 9 to 5s to have a go at online business or really just pursue their passions in a meaningful way. So, why is a plan important? What can it do for us in those starting stages of our business?
So I love what you said right before this question when you said that you revisit your numbers.
Mm,
Technically, and I'm going to say this, and it's kind of partly saying, hey, you don't need a business plan. A lot of people say I don't need a business plan. They're like, I don't need one. I'll just do.
mm,
But they do. They just do it in their own way. So, and that's okay.
yeah,
You have to track your numbers. There's no way around it. And I don't sugarcoat it for anybody. I just tell them you're going to have to look at numbers. You have to if you're a business owner. You can have people explain them to you and track them for you, but you as the owner have to look at them. Like you said, you go back and you look at your numbers,
mm,
and that is you following a plan. It may not be as structured on paper, line by line, this is what I'm doing, but numbers are really the core of a business plan. Why it's
yeah,
important, why it's important is to keep your business open. So if you don't know what's
yeah,
happening, your business is going to go away and there's no way you can get around it. To grow. So, for example, looking at your numbers, if you see that, I'm going to use this podcast as an example. If you notice in your
mhm,
numbers on your podcast, oh my goodness, I just signed 5 new clients because of what I was doing in my podcast this last quarter. You're going to repeat that in order to get 5 more, maybe
yeah,
10. And you're going to repeat behaviors that are working. So if you don't keep track and you don't have a plan, you can't do that. So growing is another reason to have a business plan. And then there's so many reasons. Starting out, if you're looking at someone who's just starting, it gives them the steps they need to take. What's next? So even if you just ran your numbers and said, okay, for example, I need to sign 3 clients a month in order to reach these particular numbers, in order to get this much money, in order to pay these bills.
mm,
You know now, okay, if I have to get 3 clients, what do I have to do today and tomorrow and this week and this month to be able to get 3 clients? Because as a business owner, we want to just do our passion, but it really is paying attention to who's buying our passion.
yeah. There's so many things that you brought up there. Like my brain is going into overdrive. Just that in itself, we say we want things from our business. I want freedom from my business. I want financial freedom and time freedom. And we don't stop to think, what does a business need from me? And it needs attention to
Oh,
the
I like
numbers.
that.
It needs that structure. Yeah. It needs a plan and it needs someone who's going to be able to follow it. And I talk about this a lot when it comes to the integrator and the visionary. So if you have a business and you're the visionary and it's all about the 10-year plan and what you're going to create, then you need someone. If you're not going to step up and play both roles, you need someone who's going to do that, because that's what your business needs in order to experience that growth. And I think that was the other thing that you touched on that's so important, is actually tracking what's working. I found that nothing is more nothing will make your business grow more than actually looking at what's working and just doing more of it. Like, it's so simple when we think about it. We think that growth is all these strategies and I need to try this and then I need to try that. And it's not. It's looking at what works, and it's going to be probably the most boring thing you can think of. And it's repeating that over and over and over again and making it bigger and bigger, and sometimes not even making it better. I see so many people go, oh, great, this is working. Let me tweak it. Let me make it better. And then they break it. And it's like, it's good. If it's not broken, don't fix it. Like, just keep doing what's working. So that's so important. And I think, even if you're someone who's already at six figures, just from this conversation, I can say, okay, wow, it's so important. A business plan will actually help me scale, right? It can help you pick out sort of those holes in your strategy, in your business, any blind spots, any gaps, and help you start to fill that so that you can achieve whatever goal it is that you've set. And, it's very good that we're doing this right at the start of 2023. So anyone listening, if you're thinking about your 2023 goals, a business plan will likely help you at least know what you have to do in order to get there, which sometimes is half the battle. So this is such a juicy conversation. I love it so much.
Well, to add
what
to
is
that,
your? Oh, sorry.
It's okay.
Yeah.
I was gonna add to that, because I love that you brought up people that already have a business, if they're already at their six figures. A business plan, and I think it just has a bad name. I think people just associate it with so much work. Like, business
Yeah.
plan, work, yikes. But revisiting, that's something. I have clients who are doing great in their business, but they have an idea of doing something else. Like, they want to add to it. So they're like, I'm already doing this service, but I want to try this other service. And I'm like, write a business plan, because guess what? That's going to tell you if it'll work. Because if you map it out and then you go, oh, that idea is not the greatest, that didn't really look like I thought it was going to look, then you know ahead of time, and you're saving time and you're saving money, and you may not launch it. Oh, or it'll be amazing and you'll launch it and you'll be confident that you can launch it and it's going to work.
Yeah. Oh, I love that. Even just that confidence. That's so interesting. I do that. I never realized I do that. But anytime I think about doing anything, I sit and I look at the numbers and I'm like, where's my money coming from? And then I do it and I'm like, oh, okay, wait, that doesn't work. So I either need to tweak it or I need to scrap it. So it's so interesting, I guess. And this kind of leads into another one of my questions, is if you're not necessarily a super structured person, right? We think business plan applies only to people who really love like staying in the lane and like ticking off the things off their to-do list. So if you're a very flowy person, or you like to feel more into your business than necessarily just be very black and white, what sort of advice would you give to someone when it comes to having a business plan and having it feel more liberating than restricting?
I love that question. And I love that what you said right before that, because you run the numbers, and the numbers can be really simple. It doesn't take long. It's not a full blown business plan where you're looking at every single aspect. I would say that you don't have to have a full blown business plan, really, if you understand what your numbers are. So you can be relaxed in that, and you don't have to follow it letter by letter. I would say, yes, map out if you're starting fresh and you don't have a business and you only have an idea, I'm going to say, hands down, write the plan. It's going to be work. It's going to be a struggle for people who don't like to plan, but you don't have to stick to that exact thing. It's just getting it on paper, and you can use it as a guide. So you can put down your business idea is going to evolve. And so you may put something down one day, and 6 months later, it's turned into something else. And that's totally okay. A lot of people think once they put it on paper, that's it. That's all they can do. And that's not true. You want to update it and revise it. And it's like a working document that you use all the time. So for people who really don't want to stick to a plan, they don't want to I'm not that way, and I do planning. Um, I have a good tip for listeners. I have a to-do list and I have an idea list. So my to-do list are things that do have
Mm.
to get done. My idea list are for things that go on in my head that are like, this is a great idea. And so I write it down and then
Yeah.
I just flow in and out. And sometimes my ideas translate into to-dos. Sometimes my to-dos come from an idea and it crosses over. Same with your business plan. It's not written in stone and you can't change it. It's just to get you thinking. And that's one thing that I've gotten feedback with
Mm.
the workbook that I wrote. It's a simplified version of a business plan. People that go through it, they're like, I love the questions that you ask because they're open-ended questions and they're made, and you have a whole space, a whole page to just write because you just want to get the
Yeah.
ideas out. You're going to change your mind maybe 5 minutes later, and that's totally okay.
Yeah. Oh, this is so important. It's so important because whether you are starting out, whether you've got $1 million business, I mean, honestly, I don't know how you can get to $1 million business or even six figures if you're not thinking like this. So if you're starting out and you're like, what are they even talking about? What are my numbers? How do I crunch numbers? Um, or how do I validate an idea that I'm having before I just pursue it? Like, this is so important, and it's so important to practice this starting out because you're going to need it when it comes down and you're like, whoa, 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 all right. Everything's going well. Like, even when you have a business and it's going well, so many people don't do their numbers. They're like, great, I'm making six figures. Then they sit down, someone walks them through their numbers and says, you're actually in debt. And if you don't know what you don't know, then that's how you get to that place. So I feel so inspired already. I'm like, oh, all right, let me go run my numbers again, make sure everything's all nice and good. What are your top 3 tips to get a business plan going or start to put together some ideas in a plan, so to speak?
I would say the first thing is figuring out, and I work with service-based businesses mostly. Products are great and fine. Takes more planning and a lot more details because you have a product that you're working with, either creating it, materials. There's a lot more that goes into it. So for service-based businesses, I would say if you're not sure, you have a business idea, so you have a concept, sit down and list out the services you want to provide that you love, you absolutely love, and make a list. You can sit and make a huge list if you want, or you can just limit it to like 5 or 10 ideas and then give them priority and do the top 3. Don't pick more than 3. Get really, really picky. Like, can you picture yourself doing this service every single day, all the time, no matter what? So write down
Yes.
all of the service ideas that you have, things that you could do every single day, no matter what, and enjoy. So here's a thought talking about vision. If you visualize yourself working every day, serving your clients, do you enjoy it? Do you get off of a call or stop in the
Mm.
service and just have a smile and like, oh, that was so great. That was so great. Or is it, oh my goodness, I have another client in an hour? I mean, how are you responding to that service that you're going to provide in a vision? And that's going to help you identify your number one service that you just absolutely love, that you want to share with the world and you want to get paid to do. Um, so that's number one. So come up with that service, and then this is going to take a little bit of research, but figure out your price for that. What price point do you want that to be at? And do some research around it, market research, whatever that service is in your industry. Give it a price, and then you have your numbers. Basically, you have a goal. Figure out how much you want to make for the
Yeah.
year, and then take those numbers, and those are 1, 2, 3. So have your service, get your price, and then do your goal. So if your goal is to make 6 figures, then you back into that 6 figures. How many services do you have to sell in a year? And that's the
Yeah.
base.
I love it. It can be so easy.
1, 2, 3, and you could
Yeah.
do that every
And
single.
it's a great
Yeah,
place to
you could
start.
totally do that every single quarter, just for your
Yeah,
own,
for
you
sure.
know.
I do it once a week, but I'm paranoid.
I do too.
I'm like,
I
wait a
actually have
second.
my
Am
spreadsheet
I
open. I have
sure?
my spreadsheet open every day almost. 'Cause I'm like, where am I at? What's going on? What am I supposed to be doing tomorrow?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
I love it. Oh my goodness. Okay, this is amazing. I want to talk about you for a little bit. What are you currently passionate about? Whether it's in life, whether it's in business, what's lighting you up?
So right now it's all about the animals. We have four animals.
I
We
love
have two
it.
kitties and two dogs. And right now, and I'm looking at her, she's being so good. We have a 9-month-old chocolate lab. Her name is Sadie, and
Oh, wow.
we got her when she was 8 weeks old. And it's been challenging because of her energy level, but good for me. I actually, when I take her out for walks, I walk her about
Oh, okay.
3 times a day. I'm out walking her, and it gives me clarity. Like I have a moment where I'm like, it's all I can do is walk
Mm.
with her and think. So I have time to like reflect on what I've been doing for the day or what I'm going to be doing. And at first, it was kind of an inconvenience. I'm like, okay, you have to go out again. We have to go for a walk again. But then I embraced the positive of it and I thought, this is really good for me. I got to get away from my computer.
Mm.
And she's so fun and she's a really good dog. So she's sleeping over here next to me. um, yeah, so
Oh, I love
the
it.
last 6 months
Oh.
of my life have been all about her and just working on my business. And she'll come and put her nose on me, and I'm like, okay, it's time for a break. I need to get up. And it's just been amazing.
Oh, I got goosebumps. That's so important. Just like that quiet time, that space, time to think. That's where we really have our big ideas and we sort of don't get so caught up in the day to day that we forget what we're doing or why we're doing. I always try to do that because I'm like, wait, I'm sure I can make this easier for myself if I just take a second to think. But that's so fun. I recently met a Labrador and she was 4 years old, and I've never seen a dog with that much energy. So I'm thinking of you. 3 walks sounds about right. Like, oh my goodness, they're so excited and excitable. It's just pure like fun, I reckon.
Yeah.
I have a poodle. She's adorable, but
Oh,
Labradors are so fun.
yeah. Somebody posted on social media in a lab group that I'm in, a Labrador group, and they're considered Velcro dogs, which is so true. They have to be next to you every day, and they don't care how big
Yeah.
they are. Like it's like in your lap, totally fine. I'm 60
Yep.
pounds. I'm just gonna come sit on you. Yeah, they are a joy.
I love it. Yes, joy. I love that. What are you working on? What's your favorite thing that you're working on in your business at the moment?
So at the moment, I just launched a podcast of my own. And that's what actually how I found
Oh,
you, because I was searching and finding podcasts to listen to. That was a
wow.
whole new concept for me. I love video. I don't mind being on video, and I was doing video interviews and things like that. But I'm like, I need something to listen to because I love to learn and I love to hear what other people are doing. And so I
Mm.
started researching podcasts to listen to. I found you, and I thought, I
Wow.
need to do this. This would be really cool. And so I researched it and I started the third week of December. So really, really recently, doing my own podcast. And
Yeah. It's the first 10 episodes are the hardest though. So you've got this. You're going
thank
great.
you. Thank you. And what I love about it is what we're doing right now. I love meeting people and having conversations. I just think it's so enlightening. I think for the
Yeah.
listeners, like whoever's listening to us right now, they're like, the aha moments are probably just popping in their head. They're like, oh, yeah, I did. That's a great thought. Oh my gosh, I'm so glad they said that. So it's something it's been
Yes.
fun.
Oh, good. I love that. What's the name of your podcast?
It is Starting a Business Simplified with Suzy Wraines. And yeah, I'm doing my individual solo episodes really short, and then I'm interviewing guests. So it's been fun.
I'll put that in the show notes, everyone. That'll be in the show notes. Starting a business simplified. Simplified is so important. I did a whole episode about that too, because it's like, oh, we won't even get into it. Go and listen to that. Go and listen to Suzy's podcast. You will understand why your business needs to be as simple as possible. Um, and now we're to my last question, which is what is your crystal vision for the future? So, without revealing too much, what is it that you're working on so that in a few years' time, we can look back and say, wow, she achieved it all?
I am working on consistency and having fun, making what I do
I love that.
fun and enjoying it. And I'll reveal a little bit. My really big goal, and that's actually for this year, is to be able to give back. So I really want to volunteer my time, which means I have to figure out my business in a shorter span of time, which for those of you who have a successful business, you totally get what I'm saying. So making more time, but also being able to share monetarily. So be able to donate money as well to organizations. I'm an animal lover. And so that's something my husband and I are both passionate about. So just being able to share my time with local shelters or things like that, working with animals, just enjoying giving back. That's a huge thing for me. And if I accomplish it, which I am going to, I'm going to say that. I'm going to put it out in the universe. I am going to accomplish it.
Yeah.
To where I have more time and more money, and that's what I think about. That's my vision.
Just run your numbers.
Yeah, exactly.
That's how you get more time.
Yeah, that's true.
We need the plan.
That's true. That is so true. That's why my spreadsheet's open every day.
Yeah. We can squeeze the margins here a little bit. No, I love that. That's so fun. I'm curious, this was not on my list and I only thought about it while you were talking, but do you have a word for 2023?
I have a few. I have a few words. Consistency for sure is a big word for me in 2023.
Yeah.
And the other word, I'm trying to think of how to say it in one word, but it's joy, because I want to be enjoying what I'm doing. So consistency and joy would probably be the best way to describe it. And I noticed that today as I was doing
joy. My word.
I was doing things today and I was busy, and I stopped for a minute and I went, why are you so busy? Like, why? My brain was busy. I was doing, but my brain was like stressing. And I was like, what is happening? And I stopped for a minute and I paused and I went, why are you busy in your head? Do you have to be? Is there a reason that you're going crazy in your head right now? And I realized that I had no reason, and I could actually let it go and not be stressed in my head. And all of a sudden it was just like, I just felt good. I was like, oh, yeah. So I want to do more of that this year.
Yeah. Oh, I love it. Oh, I can just feel that this is going to be such an expansive year for you. And I think I am all about, at the moment, kind of like out of nowhere, like just feeling more life. I think I've spent so long being obsessed with business and money, and I've got a spreadsheet now to track like other habits that I'm doing. Like, did you relax today? Or did you do something that you enjoy that is not related to business in the past week? So I'm all about living more, and I think everyone's sort of waking up to the fact that like we've got this amazing life that we can live, and we've got to just breathe in the fresh air and be out in the nature, and just like you said, even things like volunteering and giving back is so important. It gives us such good feelings inside that sometimes money can't buy you joy, right? So this is so important. I've absolutely loved having this conversation. Tell us, where can people find you? Where can they get their business plan? Give us all, we'll link everything in the show notes, but just say it now.
Yeah, so if anybody would like more information, they can always find me at my website, SuzyWraines.com, the last name spelled with a W, and it'll be in the show notes. But on my website, you can go to work with me, and it has all of the ways that you can get in touch or just contact me. I'm happy to talk to people about what they're working on, just in a casual conversation. There's no pressure or anything around it, because that we have to do that as business owners, especially starting out. Have somebody to bounce ideas off of and just say, hey, this is what I'm thinking. What do you think? How does it sound? I'm happy to do that. So reach out definitely if you need that. And then I am on Facebook and sort of on Instagram. I have an account. Not keep again consistency, and of course you can listen to me on my new podcast, which is link is on my website as well, and I'll give you the link for that so that it can be in the show notes.
Yay! Thank you so much for being on this show. Thank you for all of the juicy nuggets of wisdom that you've blessed us with. I've had such a good time and enjoy the rest of your day.
Thank you. It was so great to be on. Thanks for having me.